No matter what country a player belongs to, they must come to Korea to rent the Holy Sword, and it must be used in a controlled location. Usually the player renting it, their bodyguards, and one or two high-ranking officials who can take responsibility accompany them. In the case of the United States, only Gerald, director Antonio, and bodyguards came. It was the same for Norway and Russia. However, the case of Saudi Arabia was different. Saudi royalty, government ministers, national players, and all sorts of hangers-on flocked to Korea in a crowd. The tower player awakening administration, the rental location for the Holy Sword, was on the verge of bursting. Thus, the Saudi side requested a change of location. Deputy Commissioner Jun Gwangil accepted, and Saudi Arabia rented an entire hotel in Seoul. It felt a bit uneasy for it to be a hotel event again, but it was a customer's request, so how could he refuse? The grand ballroom of the Seoul Hilltown Hotel, a magnificent event hosted by the Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Korea, was underway. Deputy Commissioner Jun Gwangil also came to the Hilltown Hotel, and so did team leader Imina, the Holy Sword Shuttle. It's a regular festival, a total festival. I guess they aren't even considering the possibility of failure. It's Nasser, after all. He almost cleared floor 66 even without the Holy Sword. He caught up to 8 of them, a mission where one must catch 10 specters. If it's 8, it's practically a success. Ah, I'm hungry. Just bear with it for a bit. Let's eat once Nasser enters the tower. Yes, this was at the level of a national event. They should have just quietly borrowed the Holy Sword and left. Nothing will happen this time, right? Like the HG Hotel terror attack. Why? Do you want something to happen? Ho ho, of course not. The sight of terrorists being ruthlessly taken down was broadcast live. What kind of bold bastards would show up now? That was a valid point. Anyway, the pre-event wrap-up was finished. Time to enter the tower. The Saudi Minister of Black Tower Management and the top player, Nasser, approached Deputy Commissioner Jun Gwangil with an interpreter. I apologize for keeping you waiting. Not at all. Then, shall we proceed with the clear now? Yes, we will proceed right here, right here. Nasser replied with a smirk. Is there a designated place to enter the tower? You just enter and come back out from anywhere. It was immense confidence, though he was a player with the qualifications to back it up. Understood. Team leader Lee Mina? Nay, no, as Jun Gwangil signaled with his eyes, team leader Lee Mina pulled the Holy Sword right out of her inventory, and player Nasser Al-Aboud took the Holy Sword from her. Please use it well. Hehehe, nothing to worry about. I'll return it perfectly intact, although I don't quite measure up to Korea's S++ rank record holder. I am quite a capable player myself. As if we didn't know. Nasser held the Holy Sword high. Click, 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 click. Reporters from Saudi Arabia and various other countries vied to press their camera shutters, and then spot tower entry. He finally went in. Deputy Commissioner, how many hours do you estimate? Well, won't it take at least 4 hours? Then I should go grab a bite to eat. Won't you join me? Let's go. I want to see what halal food tastes like. The Hilltown Hotel soon transformed into a scene of socializing. Saudi government officials, politicians, business leaders, ambassadors from various countries, cultural figures, academics, many people were invited to the event. Since it was a place where so many big shots gathered, reporters were also everywhere. CNN, the American news channel, was moving around conducting interviews after receiving permission from the organizers. A lot of time passed. It felt like it was about time for him to come out. If he succeeded, the Saudi players would surely be the first to know. Global notices are not only heard during S++ rank clears, also during tower collapse countdowns. A global notice also rings out when a mission on an uncleared upper floor is successfully completed. Floor 66 of Black Tower, Saudi Arabia, has been cleared. Like this. The Saudi government players who followed Nasser to Korea jerked their heads up and cried out, "Ah, oh God, oh, it's a success!" The Hilltown Hotel ballroom became noisy with a buzz of excitement. A moment later, Spot, player Nasser, reappeared holding the holy sword. His face was drenched in sweat, the sound of thunderous applause. People flocked to congratulate Nasser. Deputy Commissioner Jun Gwangil also approached Nasser with a joyful expression. "Congratulations. It took longer than expected. Sorry for making you wait." As Nasser held the holy sword with both hands and pushed it forward, Jun Gwangil received it carefully. The holy sword was handed over to team leader Lee Mina to be stored in the inventory and taken back to the administration. Since it was used once, it had to be repaired. Lee Mina tried to carefully put the holy sword into her inventory, but it was then crack, the sound of something splitting, gasp. On the blade of the holy sword, a small hairline fracture appeared right in the center. What? Crackle, snap, the holy sword snapped right in two. Thud, a piece of the sword fell to the floor. Faluri delal, el lint, a silence flowed quietly. Click, 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 click. Camera flashes went off incessantly. Everyone froze. The holy sword broke. Everyone in the ballroom was swept with shock. Neither player Nasser, nor the Saudi government officials, nor the reporters spoke a word, and the one sentence from team leader Lee Mina that broke the silence. "Oh, fuck." Her very savory curse was carried by the CNN news waves and spread across the world. They were watching the live broadcast in the US as well. Secretary McMillan of the Department of Homeland Security blurted out in a voice just as savory as Lee Mina's, "Motherfucker, holy shit." Director Antonio also put both hands to his head. "Oh my God," the entire world fell into shock. If the holy sword becomes like that, how will we break through the undead section? The whole plan is completely ruined. An emergency was declared. The worst-case scenario had occurred. Jun Gwangil rushed to the player shop workshop. He met the best master blacksmith in Korea and asked, I can attach it, but is that so?" However, there is a high possibility the effect will vanish. It broke right on the part where the pattern was engraved. Ah, you know as well, don't you? Even if you copy and engrave the pattern from a tower reward item exactly, it doesn't become like the original. It was over, completely ruined. What to do about this? A snapped holy sword of all things. How meticulously had they managed it? No matter how weak the durability is, it breaks this suddenly? The responsibility must lie with Nasser. The bastard has the axe master trait, using an axe as his primary weapon. No doubt, he must have swung the holy sword wildly like an axe. He probably hacked at the ground and hacked at stones. Nasser, you son of a bitch. Curses couldn't help but come out. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Everyone has a beginner phase. How many youths are there who never even grabbed the steering wheel after getting their license? Juhyuk was one of them. In any case, it was a situation he had to go through once to shed his beginner status, so he boldly grabbed the wheel. At first, he only drove looking straight ahead. He didn't know if he might actually end up in Busan. But as the driving time increased, he fortunately became more and more accustomed to it. Checking the side Morse-Dilliers and rear-view mirror, increasing speed, using the turn signals, stopping at a rest area in the middle to refuel. Only then could he see the navigation screen. The camping car that was only going straight exited the IC and turned back toward the direction it needed to go. He had sent all the summoned entities back while driving. It interfered with his concentration, and his clumsy driving skills were embarrassing. The destination reached after 5 hours. Screech! Finally parked. I've completely lost my mind. The sun was already setting. It would be evening soon. Still, he arrived safely. The land he bought. No, the land the administration bought for him. It seemed the leveling work was finished. It was to the point where one could even start farming, and a temporary container-style house was installed. Electricity, water, and even sewage work were fully prepared. I could live here, though it was a villa through and through. Is there a signal? He checked his smartphone. 2 antenna bars are alive. He has phone service, and the road is paved. This kind of land must be quite expensive, even if it's in the outskirts. His body feels stiff. Since he came to an area with clear air, he started with breathing exercises. Whoo, whoo, the energy moving inside his body. The energy that was the size of a grain of sand at first had now grown to about the size of a bean. The blood jade true chi forming at his fingertips also became increasingly vivid in its red color. Am I going to become stronger than Cossack or Meat Shield at this rate? Pff, a hollow laugh comes out. Not a chance. How could I beat them? Bizazazadi! A call came in, the name appearing on the smartphone screen. It's the deputy commissioner. Come to think of it, I believe they said someone was coming from Saudi Arabia today to rent the Holy Sword. It seems money has come in again. Another 13 billion will be deposited. When will I spend all this money? I have to figure something out, a way to spend money efficiently. Should I invest in the stock market or something? Hello? Oh, really? That's fine, but I'm not at home right now. Namyangju, the land I bought before. Is something wrong? His voice sounds bad. Let's call the summoned entities. Owing? You've arrived, sir. That was faster than I thought. I step on it up to 80 kilometers per h now. That's incredible, sir. As expected of Summoner Bong. You could enter an F1 race, sir. Well, not quite that much. The remaining goal is the highway speed limit. I should try driving up to 100 kilometers per h. Only then can I join the ranks of alpha males. Mr. Rajix, let's take out the luggage. Who? Okay? Items poured out from the subspace backpack. A large dining table and chairs, charcoal and a barbecue grill, dry firewood, a camping fire pit, various meats and vegetables, drinks, beer, and soju. There was no need for something like a tent. When would he set all that up? He has the camping car and the container house. First, a campfire was lit. A dining table was placed next to it. Glowing red charcoal was spread in the barbecue grill. The atmosphere was killer. As expected, coming outside has more charm than staying only inside the house. Kyundale also seemed to be in a good mood. I'll sing a song, sir. Isn't outdoor drinking and singing a Korean tradition, sir? What kind of bard does he think he is? I don't think anyone wants to hear Mr. Cossack's singing. Didn't you know, sir? The absolute pitch who toys with melody and rhythm, the king of singers who turns the stage upside down, the natural-born singer-songwriter, that's me, Cossack, sir. I'd rather listen to Veronica's singing. At that, Veronica woke up with a start. Certain victory, Sergeant Veronica Caliber. Loading 1 round of military song. Recoil is left-right recoil. Military song is the last. She put her hands on her waist and swayed her body, and other things swayed along with it. They spent a long time eating, drinking, and playing like that. Actually, outdoor camping was one of Juhyuk's bucket list items. He has overflowing money and plenty of time. He's doing everything he wants to do. The next step is overseas travel. There's no need to take a plane. Just use the tower exit ring for the country he wants to go to, play quietly, and come back. Illegal entry is a crime, but, well, so what? He's committed even worse deeds. If he gets caught, he'll just flee into the tower. Just then, a car entering from far away. Gasp! Who is it, sir? A thief? It's probably the Deputy Commissioner. Aha! It was indeed Deputy Commissioner Jun Guangil. He got out of the car carrying a long bag. Deputy Commissioner, welcome, sir. Cossack welcomed him with a raised hand, acting all friendly just because they've met a few times. You worked hard coming this long way. We've grilled some meat. Let's eat together. That is he really sick somewhere? Indeed, his expression was not good. Jun Guangil lowered his head deeply. He opened the bag with trembling hands and said, I am sorry. I ended up breaking the holy sword. What? He broke it? It was true. The holy sword in the bag was snapped in two. Whoa, it's cut in half, sir, just like my stocks. You bought stocks? My previous summoner bought them, sir. He invested his whole fortune and went bust. He couldn't sleep without alcohol, sir. Oh dear, was it called Kikeo stock? Ah, that one was in 3 pieces. I should definitely not buy stocks. As expected, real estate is the best. That aside, what to do about this? A reliable source of income is about to vanish. Jun Guangil explained the reason it broke. It is suspected that the Saudi player Nasser used it roughly. It does not appear to be a fatigue fracture. If it were, it would have shattered into pieces, but for it to be snapped in half like this. He probably used it recklessly because it wasn't his. Weapons must be treated as preciously as a lover. Oh, I suddenly want to become Sergeant V's weapon, sir. Really? Shall I swing you around like Bardine? Thinking she really might, Cossack hurriedly changed the subject. Anyway, it's a failure of management, sir. We must punish the Deputy Commissioner. I agree. Reward and punishment must be clear. Please punish him severely. To damage the supplies bestowed by the commander, it's worthy of being sent to a military tribunal. Prepare yourself, Deputy Commissioner. Jun Guangil squeezed his eyes shut. To be honest, he had nothing to say. Surely they won't kill him? Deputy Commissioner, return your badge. It is regrettable, but it cannot be helped. Please retrieve the badge. Return your medal. Zhou Yak yelled angrily, defending Jun Guangil. There they go again, overreacting. It broke because it was time for it to break. What fault does the Deputy Commissioner have? The summoned entities attempted a quick change of stance. Thinking about it, returning the badge was too much, sir. It would be better to replace it by cutting off one finger, sir. Shall I blow away his karma? A flick to the forehead would be enough. How about making him run 100 laps in full gear? Yuyak clicked his tongue and said, You guys think you're so innocent? What? Cut a finger, Mr. Cossack? Yes, sir. You have things you did wrong to me too, right? I'm not sure what you mean, sir. China. That was already settled under the principle of double jeopardy, sir. Double jeopardy my foot. Shall we return the badge? Ah, Commander, I didn't even know Cossack was doing such a thing. All responsibility lies with Cossack. Sergeant V, you traitor. By the way, what is Radix doing? He turned his head and saw. Oh, Radix was carefully examining the cross-section of the holy sword with a magnifying glass he had taken out at some point. He also had a thick book that looked like an encyclopedia opened. Huh? That's right. I had Radix, didn't I? In the meantime, the effect of the human holy sword was so good that I had completely forgotten about the part concerning actual holy sword repair. Mr. Radix? Huh? Can you repair it? Ho, yes. Really? Ho. Radix repairs the holy sword. I will receive a badge. Oh man, our Mr. Radix is the best, the best. If you repair it, I'll give you 2 badges. Hui! The summoned entities didn't stay still either. The miraculous weapon repair technician, the human glue who can stick anything back together. I, Cossack, will help as Radix's worker, sir. I shall also perform a prayer ritual for the holy sword's repair by his side. If it's about using strength, leave it to a warrior. I will give our supply officer a tight hug. I'll be hugged along with him, sir. At the news that repair was possible, Jun Guangil also bowed and said, "Just say the word if you need anything. I will support everything." Hoeh. Thus began Rajix's Holy Sword repair operation. Wistuan Haud. For the countries climbing the undead section, the Holy Sword was like a rock-solid pillar. If you tried the early 60s and thought it wouldn't work, you could just pay $10 million and borrow it. They could even use the Holy Sword right from the start. 10 floors in the undead section. If you borrowed the Holy Sword for every single floor, that was $100 million. Each floor had a 6-month clear time limit. If you assumed they took the full time every run, they could hold on for 5 years. $100 million to stop tower collapse for 5 years was dirt cheap, but it broke. The Holy Sword, that is. And on top of that, people witnessed the moment it broke in real time, articles exploding across the internet. The horrific moment the Holy Sword was severed, video attached. 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 Sharikamuff. Is this the signal flare announcing tower collapse? Nations climbing the 60s stunned. How could this happen? Is repair possible? Even if repaired, doubts whether the effect will persist. Hide Xurs in your when items and manufactured items are different. Minor damage, maybe. Severe damage is impossible to repair. Who bears responsibility for the Holy Sword's damage? Surely Saudi Arabia, the last to use it, must take responsibility. Saudi government, we returned it normally. The damage occurred after return. Korean government hints at referral to international court. Legal battle inevitable. Korea's tower player awakening administration demands Nasser's floor 66 clear body cam footage. Saudi government body cam footage will not be made public. UAE Crown Prince bin Salah issues statement condemning Saudi Arabia. Fuck, bastard oil country scum. Don't grab me. I'll set your oil fields on fire. What? It broke after you returned it? Release the body cam, you sons of bitches. It's obvious why they won't release the body cam, right? Of course it is. They've got something to hide. We need compensation, at least $10 billion. Would they pay? It's a little ambiguous. It broke after they returned it. Still, what do we do now? The countries climbing the 60s are gonna start screaming. Whatever, they'll figure it out. We've got nothing to worry about. KUAA. Countries that have an S++ clearer can relax. The Tower Player Awakening Administration's phone line caught fire too. Countries that had already made reservations and countries that had plans to reserve. Was it really impossible to repair? If it was true, didn't they need to come up with countermeasures? But as always, they didn't provide any answer at all. As if the administration had some magic solution. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The original plan was to come out to clean air and stay one night outdoors. Whether it was a trip or camping, 1 or 2 days were fun. Anything beyond that, and it was just suffering. That was how it was for Juhyuk. You couldn't wash comfortably, and the sleeping situation wasn't exactly cozy. But now something came up, repairing the Holy Sword. You couldn't do it at the penthouse, so they had to squat here until it was finished. For the Holy Sword repair, Rajix demanded exactly 2 things. A small electric smelting furnace that could melt metal, and a forge used to heat iron. That very day, the administration delivered a forge and a small electric smelting furnace to Juhyuk's villa in Namyangju. In the meantime, Rajix dumped every relic fragment he had collected inside the tower into the furnace. On the forge, the broken holy sword was being heated. Relics, objects that contained holy power. No, more precisely, it had to be called the holy attribute. They'd been using the terms interchangeably, but they needed to distinguish them rigorously. That was what Kyandale said. Holy power and the holy attribute are different in their very nature. Really? How are they different? Would it be acceptable if I explained from the beginning? We've got plenty of time. Perfect. Let's hear it. Kyandale organized her thoughts for a moment, then began. There is not only one God. In this world, there have existed countless gods, each with a different identity. That was true. If there wasn't only one dimension, why would there be only one God? Even in the different worlds the summoned entities had lived in, gods existed, human gods, gods of dwarves and elves, gods of beastkin, gods from other dimensions. Master Bong, can the holy power, which may be called the unique authority of each god, be gathered together and combined into one? Well, I don't know. It is impossible. They cannot mix. Authority is not something to be blended. Then what about the relics Rajix collected? That can be mixed. Why? Kindale's explanation continued. For example, say there are drinks, cola, lemon-lime soda, banana milk, orange juice, strawberry juice, apple juice, mango juice. The unique taste, fragrance, and pulp contained in each drink were the unique authority and identity of each god. But if you stripped all of that away, the taste, the fragrance, the pulp, what would be left? Nothing but water and sugar. That sugar was the holy attribute, the basic power left behind after the gods' unique personalities and authorities were gone. And if you added more sugar to sugar, it was still sugar. The sweetness only got stronger. Then why did the unique holy power disappear? Because the worlds were ruined. Gods shared the fate of their ruined worlds. Just look at Lucius Barden. A holy knight who served the god Nigel couldn't so much as twitch against a summoner's orders. How could that make sense? It was only natural. The god Nigel had vanished, leaving only a name behind. Lucius Barden was nothing more and nothing less than a summoned entity with the holy attribute. The relics Rajix collected also had only the holy attribute left. If he melted all of that down, attached it to the holy sword, and rebuilt the damaged engravings, like adding sugar to sugar and making an unbearably sweet lump of sugar, holy attribute added to holy attribute becomes a holy sword with a richness so dense it cannot be compared. Ah, Rajix knew that too. That was why he'd said from the start that he could repair it. Hoi. He put the relic fragments he'd gathered earlier and the oracle cum ingots into the electric smelting furnace, metal fragments as they were, and for the relics made of wood and stone, he ground them into powder. Then he switched it on and melted them. After a short wait, the molten metal of the holy attribute bubbled up. The broken holy sword needed to be heated too. On top of the forge, Meat Shield pumped the bellows, hiss, hiss, until it glowed red-hot. Once it seemed sufficient, Rajix used the molten holy attribute metal to fuse the broken section of the holy sword. Then Rajix pulled a golden anvil and a golden hammer out of his subspace backpack and began to strike the holy sword. Reinforcement work. At intervals, he poured in more molten holy attribute metal and hammered again. It took quite a while. It required a lot of materials, too. Thankfully, he'd collected enough inside the tower. The finishing touch was enchantment work. After being promoted to SSR, there were skills and items he'd unlocked. The worker's essential encyclopedia was one of them, and enchantment technique was another. He traced the faint patterns, still lingering on the surface of the blade, carving them in at a consistent depth and width. He checked with a magnifying glass and the encyclopedia to see whether any part of the pattern was wrong. He mixed magic stones into the remaining molten holy attribute metal to create the material needed for enchantment, and then he filled the carved grooves with the /N_O_V_E_I_G_H_T/material. It was almost finished. He took out a whetstone from his subspace backpack, and all that remained was to polish, sharpening, grinding. Beads of sweat ran down Rajix's face. If he was going to do it, he would do it meticulously. Finally, ho! Ache! Rajix lifted the holy sword high and roared. Juhyek sprinted over at once. Is it finished? Ho! It's done. Oh man, our worker, you really worked hard. Ho-ing! Look at this sweat. Hey, what are you doing? Bring something to wipe his sweat. The summoned entities came rushing in with a clatter. Oh, Rajix the worker, that badge is really taking shape, it is. I'll fan you. This girl, tears are coming. Even if you hauled in 10 trucks of Cossack, would one compare to a top farmhand? Supply officer, I will hold you. Wipe your sweat on my chest. Ho, Cossack, you bastard. Get out of here. Why are you sticking to him? No, it's just, I'm sweating too. Assassin, I'll wipe you. Come here. Eek? One last step remained, checking whether it worked properly inside the tower. Juhyuk entered the tower with the holy sword, along with the summoned entities. Spot. It didn't take long. They came out quickly. Spot. The moment they were out, he grabbed his smartphone, dialed a number, and said, "Hello, Deputy Commissioner, it's me. Come pick up the repaired holy sword." They would probably be shocked once they saw the changed holy sword. The repair took exactly 2 full days. Still, maybe it was time to double the rental fee. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. In the United States, an emergency meeting was being held as well. With the holy sword damaged, what method could possibly clear Floor 67's Phantom Reaper? Minister Macmillan, Director Antonio, and the top player Gerald Watson gathered. Player Gerald Watson was pessimistic, shaking his head hard. It's impossible. If there isn't another item that can replace the holy sword, you won't clear it. Even light attribute items? Those are useless. Compared to Radiance, they're trash tier. Who? This was suffocating. What kind of bolt from the blue was this? Antonio, what did Korea's Tower Player Awakening Administration say? They say it can be repaired. We did not receive a definitive answer. Korea, they won't be in a rush. They have an S++ clear record holder. And they won't be able to repair it. We already tried, didn't we? The Tower Reward Item Mass Production Plan. We did. Tower reward items were incomparable to self-manufactured items, but the odds were extremely rare. So what if they scanned a reward item and printed it out with something like a 3D printer? Using tower metal as the material, of course. But it failed. The replicated item had no options at all. The same applied to damaged items. No matter how perfectly you remade it, if a critical part was destroyed, that was the end. Of all things, the broken part of the holy sword had an engraving on it. Even if you reattach it, will the options come back? God damn it! Minister Macmillan's anger surged to the top of his head. We have to get Nasser's body cam clear footage. We need to see with our own eyes what that crazy bastard did. Will they disclose it? They might have already deleted it. Fucking hell. From now on, Saudi is banned from borrowing light attribute items. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. France, which had been next after Saudi, was just as stifled. France still had more than 3 months left on its Black Tower clear time limit. Then why had they hurried to reserve the Holy Sword? Because France's top player Guillaume Loyer was in a dangerous state. He was unstable. to the point that even antidepressants couldn't settle the symptoms, so they advised him not to climb the tower at all. It was certain the dark aura had a negative effect. Then they learned about the Holy Sword's option, steadfast mind. What if that worked for Guillaume too? That was why they rushed the reservation, hoping that if he could at least hold the Holy Sword, he might be okay. But now it had turned to foam. Even the last thread of hope was gone. Because of Nasser, the tower will collapse. If only the Eiffel Tower would collapse instead. We were next in line. Should we use this as leverage? Use it how? He cleared floor 65 without the Holy Sword, didn't he? We demand temporary naturalization. Have him clear France's Black Tower floor 65. Not sure it'll work, but pressure them. There's nothing to lose. But they wouldn't comply so easily. If they accepted the demand, it would be like admitting responsibility for breaking the Holy Sword. What about Guillaume? He's at home right now. He didn't enter the tower, did he? That, I'm not sure. They hoped he hadn't entered the tower, but how could they stop a player from entering? All they could do was pray his depression would improve. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. South Korea's officially known top player. Namgan went to work at the administration again today. Morning exercise at the gym, breakfast in the cafeteria, an elite player who had practically become an administration employee. In truth, Namgaeun's mental state had collapsed badly. If she said the incident at the HG Hotel hadn't affected her, that would be a lie. The horrifying experience of being taken hostage, a blue steel blade digging into her neck. It was terrifying. A deep trauma remained, to the point she couldn't sleep after that day. But there was something that helped her every time, the Holy Sword. Whenever she entered the tower and gripped the Holy Sword, strangely, every fear, anxiety, and worry washed away as if scrubbed clean. Steadfast mind, that was the strength that kept her standing. But what was this? The Holy Sword had broken because of Nasser, that bastard. Only a sigh came out. What would they do without the Holy Sword? What about clearing floor 67 right away? All kinds of negative thoughts rushed in at once. I want to gather my strength, but Namgaeun's shoulders sagged, motivation completely gone. She didn't even want to enter the tower. Should I just retire while I'm at it? She knew she wasn't the only one suffering. The administration employees' faces were dark as well, especially Bong Juyek, the player who was the Holy Sword's real owner. His heartbreak had to be enormous. She wanted to meet him later and offer some words of comfort, and then, right at that moment, Namgaeun, player. Ah, Deputy Commissioner. If you aren't busy, come see me for a moment. Yes, what was he going to say? Probably the same as always. Don't lose heart, endure it, something like that. Namgaeun followed John Gwangil into his office. Inside, team leader Lee Mina was waiting. Unni? Come on in, Gaeun. And click, Jun Gwangil locked the door. Why was he doing that? Why lock the door all of a sudden? From now on, what you are about to see must be kept strictly confidential. Can you do that? Yes, you must promise. Okay. Team leader Mina pulled a long object out of her inventory. Huh? She knew at a glance. How could she not? The Holy Sword? The Holy Sword? But it broke. Isn't it a fake? It's not a fake. It's repaired. My God. Even the appearance had changed. If the old Holy Sword had felt like a worn-out, used item, the Holy Sword she was seeing now was close enough to call brand new. I did the first check. The effect is insane. Gaeun, you check the undead section. As if possessed, Namgaeun grabbed the Holy Sword, and the item information appeared. Tower-only Holy Sword of the Paladin Commander of the Roland Holy Kingdom. Effect: increased attack power in combat against undead. Holy Flame, Steadfast Mind, Increased Critical Hit Chance, Limit, Effects do not apply to enemies other than undead, feature. Intense radiance settles into the user's sword and body. Oh my, two things had changed. In Limit, the durability shortage option had been removed, and in Feature, it wasn't soft radiance anymore, it was intense radiance. How on earth? This wasn't the time. She needed to enter the tower and confirm it. I'll be back. Spot. Sendenfied in incendi. Namgaeon held the holy sword in her hand. This is insane. Blazing, flames of radiance wrapped around her entire body. In this moment, she was the sun itself. Yes, courage surged up, her mind hardened. Namgaeon stepped forward. Chwarararak, a specter flew in. You picked the right target. Come here. Slice. With the first skill, its wing was severed. Slice. With the second skill, its tail was severed. Slice. With the third skill, its torso was severed. Whoosh. The specter burned and scattered into ash. Ah, power, power, power. It was a holy sword with truly perfect effect, far more than before it was repaired. Gaon, it waliandai dens. The properly repaired holy sword was sent to the administration. The rental business would start soon. Since the performance was more than twice as good as before, customers would swarm, money would keep flowing in steadily. He planned to go back to the Cheongdam-dong penthouse tomorrow. He hadn't even been able to properly relax because of the holy sword repair. All right then, the badge award ceremony, the team's hope, and their cheat key. Rajix the worker, step forward. Hoing! He rolled forward. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Snap! He lifted his chin high. Thrust! He puffed out his chest. Wow, so arrogant. So what if he's arrogant? The top farmhand is allowed to be. Warrior also acknowledges. Supply officer's charm is exploding. Hooing! Was it confidence or was it arrogance? Of course, he could have both. You have faithfully performed the role of household manager and, with astonishing skill, repaired the broken holy sword, contributing to maintaining a continuous stream of income. Therefore, you are hereby awarded badges. For your reference, the badges to be awarded are 2. Clap, 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 clap. Thunderous applause. Juyek took a platinum badge out of his inventory and pinned it onto Rajix's backpack. Poke. Hoi. 4 were attached now. I'll attach one more. If he attached this, the total would be 5. Poke, and then whoosh. Suddenly, the 5 badges shone brilliantly. Something happened. Could it be? Did something trigger because it hit 5? Maybe. Even for Juhyuk, 5 platinum badges had been a condition for perks. He'd received benefits for every set of 5. Did that formula apply to summoned entities too? Woundiv, Verpildit received pringations from the summoned entity Rajix, a 5 entity Rajix, a 5 entity Rajix, a 5 entity Rajix, a 5 entities. Expressions were calm, as if they knew this would happen. Wound, in the blink of an eye, all 5 of Rajix's badges vanished. Why did they disappear? What a waste. But the summoned entity's expressions were calm, as if they knew this would happen. Wound, vote, wound, Brumbrandu chosen by the summoned entity's expressions were calm, as if they knew this would happen. More, wound, Baysat. Did he hear that wrong? So one skill would be raised to LSSR grade? Unbelievable. It was basically a perk. No, but these people, you should have told me sooner. Yes, that awarding 5 badges has an effect like this. There's a reason for that. A reason, my ass. It was a skill upgrade to LSSR grade, a benefit that could flip the entire landscape of clears, and they hadn't said anything? Cossack, get up here right now. Yes, sir. Cossack stood up awkwardly and came in front of Juhyek. We'll skip the ceremony. I'll just start pinning badges on you." Cossack only had one badge. It brought tears to his eyes. As a founding member, it was pathetic. Up until now, he'd only thought of badge awards as motivation for summoned entities. If he'd known this, he would have distributed badges evenly among them. Juhyek pulled out a whole stack of badges from his inventory and pinned them one by one to Cossack's chest. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, making 5. Nont. What? Nothing changed. It's not glowing? That's because you pinned them without meaning. Huh? Without meaning? Summoner Bong has to believe I'm worth giving those badges to, and I have to believe I deserve to receive them with a clear conscience. Only then do the badges have an effect. So that was it. That's why we didn't tell you from the start. If you knew ahead of time, the standards for giving badges would get shaky. The standards have to be clear. For Summoner Bong, and for us, he understood. The situation had to match. When the will to give and the will to receive became one, only then did the meaning of 5 badges occur. It's hard. I've always been grateful, so I want to just pin however many I can. Kyandale bowed so deeply she looked like she might take off. Your heart, vast as the sea, this girl is overwhelmed. However, aside from the top farmhand, the remaining farmhands have achieved no worthy merit, and thus do not receive your grace. Veronica said as well, "That is correct, Commander. If I receive decorations through false merit, it is not honor, it is disgrace. I will work harder. Certain victory. Meat Shield too. Warrior also tries. Then Warrior will receive badge proudly. There was no helping it. They were human too, each with firm standards. It felt like a raising simulation game. He'd have to raise them well somehow. He should praise them even if they only twitched a finger. Cossack really, did he put oil on his lips? How could he talk this well? Princess Kendale, just existing felt like strength for him. Staff Sergeant Veronica, she was just good to look at. Meat Shield always felt like a reliable big brother. If he kept doing this, wouldn't the standards for awarding platinum badges drop a lot? Still, which skill had Radjix upgraded? Hoi, search. Oh, I'll find more, Hoi. So admirable. Rune fragments and ticket fragments would start pouring out. Anyway, they'd need a lot of badges going forward. Was there anywhere to get a new supply? But the day they could climb an uncleared tower again was still far off, and they didn't have many multinational tower use tickets left either. No content at all. Clearing the tower was great, but it was annoying how it was one pattern. Shouldn't it change a little? Was this what a max-level veteran felt like? Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia was extremely close. They had a mutual defense treaty, a military alliance, and active exchanges between politicians. American support of light attribute items had also played a major role in letting player Nasser Al-Aboud climb the 60s. So obtaining Nasser's Floor 66 body cam footage wasn't that difficult. Of course, they did it unofficially, secretly. Minister Macmillan and Director Antonio watched it first. First-person body cam footage. You could see the hand holding the holy sword, and he swung the holy sword like an axe. Crunch, chop, chop, wham, 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 wham. The holy sword's blade split a specter's torso, and still had so much force left that it dug into the ground. Chop, chop, chop. Dust and stone fragments flew everywhere. The blade of the holy sword trembled, ringing as if it were vibrating. He's insane. He's the one who went around with his mouth calling himself some brave Arab warrior. Honestly, we didn't even need to see it. Stupid bastard, borrowing the holy sword, and he has no consideration for the people after him. This is why I hate macho types. What should we do? We can't just leave it alone. Macmillan thought for a moment, then leak it on YouTube, on an official US government channel. Is something wrong with your brain? Ask a question worth asking. I was just asking. We'll say a hacker group that loves freedom and peace hacked the Saudi government network and uploaded it. And so the body cam video was suddenly released on YouTube under the title, "The Madness of Saudi Player Nasser Gone Completely Insane." Of course, people ignited. I knew it. He applied axe-only skills to a sword? Fuck, that executioner bastard. And he pretends to be an alpha male? What a pathetic, weak man. Isn't there a way to really screw him over? Floor 67 is gonna be doomed, I bet. Saudi Tower just collapse already. 6 months left. How are we supposed to wait? Hey, without the Holy Sword, we're in the same boat. Right. Timing-wise, Saudi's Black Tower will probably collapse last. God damn it. Saudi Arabia didn't stay still either. On their national TV news, a Saudi royal and the minister of the Tower Climbing Management Department, Majed, appeared in a special segment. We have done nothing wrong. From the beginning, it was a holy sword with insufficient durability. Fatigue had been accumulating. Player Nasser is not a perpetrator. He is an unfairly accused victim. Saudi paid Korea an enormous rental fee, and the return was already complete. You took $10 million, and now you're saying it's damaged, so we're responsible. Rather, we want to ask Korea, do you even intend to repair the Holy Sword? If you lack the technology and capability, seek help. Saudi is also willing to assist with full sincerity, he argued shamelessly. It didn't look like he had any intention of apologizing, let alone compensating. From Saudi's perspective, he had to. If he apologized, it would be admitting fault. Majed's interview was like pouring oil on a burning house. The entire world condemned Saudi Arabia. And then, out of nowhere, a country stepped up to support Saudi Arabia. Japan. Japan's Prime Minister Kawaguchi appeared on TV to deliver a statement. Japan supports Saudi's position. The two nations have signed a mutual tower collapse defense treaty. Through smooth temporary naturalization and tower materials support, Japan and Saudi will move forward toward the future. And then, directed at Korea, the Holy Sword is a global public good. Therefore, we make an official request. If you cannot repair the Holy Sword, hand it over. Japan will fix it. We have sufficient technological capability to restore the Holy Sword. They latched onto each other, Saudi and Japan. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Korea's Tower Player Awakening Administration watched Saudi Minister Majed's interview and Japan Prime Minister Kawaguchi's statement too. But they didn't get angry. Commissioner Park Kyung-soo even wore a gentle smile. Cute. Them? Don't judge by appearances. What they're doing is cute. Jun Gwang-il agreed. Repair it for them? Not even worth replying. It felt so trivial. It was cute, even. Besides, did those bastards even know what Player Bong could do? When should we reveal the repaired Holy Sword? There's no hurry. Take it slow. If you want to drink refreshing soda, you have to swallow dry sweet potatoes first. A lot of people are going to feel like they're choking. What can you do? If you drink plain soda without anything else, it just stings your throat. Commissioner Park Kyung-soo had actually experienced that before. Back then, because of the incident where Korea's top player ran off and naturalized overnight, he suffered through hearings, then pulled off a reversal and survived at the last second. How could he forget that thrill? It's a shame Saudi's next tower clear time limit still has 6 months left. I'm more disappointed Japan is still in the 50s. If only the clear time limits would shrink drastically. Except for us. Words have power. If you go around saying that, you'll be in trouble. I'm just thinking. That can't happen. Words have power. The old sayings aren't wrong. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. France's player Guillaume Loiret made his decision. He would carry out what he'd been thinking. France, his homeland. But he resented it. France's government bore a huge share of responsibility for driving him this far. They had always forced him. It was no different from deliberate gaslighting. Stop France's Black Tower collapse and save France, they said. Then who saves me? His wife, who had always soothed him, died of cancer. She wasn't saved either. Or was she saved? Yeah, the answer had already been decided. His wife was saved, and for him, death was salvation too. Let's go together. Dying alone wasn't enough. He would take the France he loved with him. Spot. Floor 65. If he could die here. If he did, would France's Black Tower collapse? Not a chance. The United States, Norway, or Korea could just temporarily naturalize a player who could clear Floor 65 and clear it. Even if he disappeared, the chances of France's Black Tower collapsing were extremely low. He couldn't let it stay that way. France had to collapse, so that no one could touch it, until the tower collapsed, and collapsed again, until French territory was mangled beyond recognition. Guillaume pulled out an item he'd kept hidden in his inventory. A tower reward item he'd received while clearing floor 62. Tower jumping ticket, up to 5 LV, up to 5 floors. Your level rises along with it. Skipped floors are recognized as successful clears. If you went up 5 floors from floor 65, that was floor 70. Who would dare clear floor 70? With this, France's fate was decided. Guillaume tore the tower jumping ticket without hesitation. RRIP. Plav, I'm skipping 5 floors. Spot. Floor 66 has been cleared. Find finally. And so, Guillaume Loiret became the first in the world to reach floor 70. The background was a dark forest, and a road stretching straight ahead. Now, let's go die to what he guessed was the final boss monster of the undead section, Floor 70's boss. Kill high-ranking demon Cabalan Duke. Copy. A demon? And what was this copy thing? He didn't need to know. He came to die. Who killed him? What did it matter? Guillaume kept walking along the road. Then a huge mansion appeared ahead. The door into the mansion was closed, and creak. Guillaume opened the door. A long red carpet laid out inside. At the end of the carpet was a tall dais and a chair, and on the chair, welcome. What? The monster spoke, and in French, you climbed with a trick. You skipped 5 floors. That was when, slither. Guillaume's body moved on its own. Floating in the air, he was dragged toward the chair. Clench. Demon Cabalan Duke grabbed Guillaume by the throat, but Guillaume didn't resist. He only stared at Cabalan with empty eyes. Did you come to die? You've lived a hard life. I'll grant your wish, after I observe the world through you first. And then, ding, a message rang out. Humanity encounters an intelligent demon monster for the first time. High-ranking demon Cabalan Duke, copy, observes the world. So sluggish. Sluggish, tower climbing. I'll help you. A world notice, delivered to everyone living on Earth. To players as system messages, and to ordinary people as a telepathic broadcast translated into each nation's language. The messages continued. The average floor of Earth's Black Towers is fixed at floor 70. Rapid tower climbing is required to reach the average Alain de Truns. 10 countries announced, and finally, Ferris to good and thirst. Then Cabalan Duke spoke to Guillaume. Then Cabalan Duke spoke to Guillaume. Then Cabalan Duke spoke to Guillaume. Now I'll fulfill your wish. Crack! Guillaume's neck snapped. I will send your corpse outside. It is my kindness to you. Spot. And just like that, Guillaume's corpse vanished from the tower. Firms sekuth de diem. Firms diem stod of diem. Back then, Bong Juyak was at his family home. He'd stopped by on the way, before returning to the Cheongdam-dong place from the Namyangju villa. He'd been calling often, but it had been a long time since he'd actually seen their faces. "I'm here. Juyak's here." But then, welcome. No, nothing. His father trailed off, then corrected himself. "No, I guess there is." His father was watching his expression. Is it hard for him to deal with a son who's growing into the richest man in the world? Fair enough. He got it. Even for parents, having a kid doing too well could be a burden. His younger brother Min-hyuk also shuffled out of his room, half awkward. "Bro, you're okay, right? You're not thinking bad thoughts or anything, are you? What's with this little punk now? Bad thoughts, my ass?" Mom spoke in a calm voice, too. "Juyak, don't take it too hard. You've made so much money. Just because it broke doesn't mean you have to regret anything. Maybe later, when technology advances, it can be repaired." "Ah, now I understood. Wait, are you trying to comfort me because the holy sword broke?" If you can't be a holy sword owner, what's wrong with being a building owner? Take the money you've saved and buy a building. We've lived without greed this whole time, bro. It's okay. Everything will work out. And the money you gave us before, I haven't spent a single one. I kept it safe. You can take it back." Jesus, not a single one? This weak man family, I swear. I knew this would happen. I told you to spend it however you want. I've got money, okay? Mom, go luxury shopping at a department store, okay? Dad, buy yourself a high-end car, okay? And Minyuk, go to an Apple store and buy the most expensive pad they've got. Make the staff clap for you, okay? Minyuk stared at me, blank-faced. "What are you talking about? Why would they clap for me?" "That's just how it works, you little punk." No choice. I was planning to save the Holy Sword repair as a decisive moment, bang, for later. I'd even coordinated it with Chun Guangil. But who? Mom, Dad, and Minhyuk. The family could know, at least. It wasn't some massive secret. The Holy Sword. I fixed it. It snapped clean in half 3 days ago. I reattached it perfectly, but it's a secret, so don't go blabbing about it anywhere. You, really? Yeah. You're not lying. It's me, Bong Juyak. If I lie, it shows right away. Well, that's true. In that instant, Dad's eyes lit up. Then can I buy a car? Buy it. A good one. Just don't drive 50 kilometers an hour on the highway later. Huh? Is there some crazy bastard who does that? Probably not right now. Still, I was grateful they'd worried. But aren't you feeding me? Just wait a second. I'm setting the table right now. Ah, I'm starving. Hurry. That was when it happened. Humanity encounters an intelligent demon monster for the first time. I whirled notice. What the hell is this now? The mood in the house wasn't normal either. Everyone froze mid-motion, then flinched. Demon? Is that like a pork hawk name? Why can I hear this? Mum too? Yeah, it's ringing right next to my ear. Why is Duke Carnival observing us? It's not Carnival, it's Cabalin. Right, Carnival copy. They'd all heard it. Juhyuk realized it, whirled notice. The recipients were, literally, the world, asterisk, 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 from Black Tower, France, floor 65 through floor 66, 67, 68, and 69, one continuous streak without stopping. Because it was Black Tower, France, French players were the first to recognize it. At first, all they felt was shock. 5 floors cleared all at once? No. Had the Black Tower lost its mind? Was it some kind of system error? The clear timestamps were spaced 1 second apart by floor. No matter how you thought about it, it wasn't normal. And then came the next message. This time, it was a world notice. Not just French players, every player across the entire world, no, every person on Earth, everyone heard it. Even the elderly couple walking down the street holding hands, even the elementary, middle, and high school students heading home after class, the merchants selling goods in the market, and the laborers on construction sites, politicians, civil servants, office workers, shut-in unemployed, even newborn babies heard it. Of course, they wouldn't have understood the meaning, but in this moment the world must have gone quiet. Kabbalah Duke? Curse of the average? Match floor 70? Why 70 of all numbers? The world fell into chaos. What exactly was all this for? After the uproar swept through, people turned their eyes to France, because the first anomaly had occurred there. 5 floors cleared in 5 seconds, and France's tower progressed flipping to floor 70 overnight. The French government couldn't hide it. They had no choice but to make it public, why it had happened. The clue was the death of the top player, Guillaume Loiret. CCTV footage from the cameras installed in Guillaume's residence, set up because Guillaume had long been monitored due to depression. Guillaume entered the tower, and right after the global notice and world notice rang out, Guillaume appeared again, dead. From that, one hypothesis took shape. There is an item called a tower jumping ticket. The reward chance is extremely slim, but it does exist. Director Antonio's face was stiff as they reported to Minister Macmillan. I know, and I know it's a damn useless item. Normally, government collection and storage is the principle, but so Guillaume was hiding it. Yes, that's how it was possible to clear 5 floors in a day. And there's an extremely high probability that Demon Kabbalah Duke is the boss of floor 70. Probability? It's certain. The first intelligent monster. And it spreads a curse outside the tower. Curse of the average. 10 countries were selected. Republic of South Africa, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, America/USA, Japan, the Netherlands, Senegal, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Kazakhstan. This was insane. America was included too. The selected countries had to clear upper floors fast, because it said the clear time limit would keep shrinking, and it did shrink. For example, the tower progress status window showed 101 days, 5 hours, 25 minutes, 38 seconds. Like that, you could confirm down to hours, minutes, and seconds, but then it began dropping rapidly. The speed was getting gradually faster. Like a time bomb timer you'd messed with by accident, the time limit was falling at a terrifying pace. Gradually, accelerating. The curse was real. To lift the curse, it says we have to match an average of floor 70. Is that even possible? Well, if there's enough time given, it might be possible. There were 145 towers on Earth. Not every country had a tower. Some countries had one, some didn't. The criteria were population and territory size. Countries with small territory or populations under 3 Novolite, don't copy, read here, million, didn't have a tower built in them. Also, for divided countries like North and South Korea, the tower was unified as one. Of course, some countries had multiple towers, 145 towers. Assume every black tower on Earth rises to an average of floor 70. Exclude repeat clears and re-clears. Count only first-time ascents of uncleared upper floors. If 145 towers average floor 70, the total required sum is 10,150 floors. But the current worldwide average climbed floor was about floor 55. The total sum of first-time ascents of uncleared upper floors so far was about 7,975 floors. 10,150 minus 7,975 is, by simple calculation, The number of uncleared upper floors the world must clear from now on to reach an average of 70 is 2,175. I'm going to lose my mind. Not everyone had to reach floor 70. Only the average had to match. But was that possible? If countries below floor 60 pushed themselves and climbed 10 floors or more, easy to say. We'd have to apply pressure, set tower clear quotas too. You're saying something insane. Do you think that's possible? That's right. Each country's tower climbing was purely decided by that country's players and government. Would it work if you tried assigning quotas like, your country must clear the Black Tower to floor X? And if a country refused cooperation with, we weren't selected among the 10 countries, so we won't rush climbing, they'd draw hostile looks from other nations. That was the terrifying part of the curse of the average. A country that couldn't reach the average, a country that dragged down the average, would obviously become the world's outcast. The seed of conflict was being planted. If it went wrong, World War III might break out. At this point, war might be easier. If we conquered the world and made it one country, how convenient would that be? Before that, the planet would be finished. What about clearing Kabul Duke? Well, the condition is killing the true body, not the copy. There's a high chance Kabul on Black Tower, France, floor 70, is also a copy. Then where was the true body? Somewhere among the 145 towers, floor 70s. In the end, that means every country must clear floor 70 to lift the curse. We're screwed. You could see the future clearly. Black towers collapsing across the globe. Earth punched full of holes. Bang, bang. The world changed in an instant. From now on, the entire landscape of tower climbing would change completely. America was one of the 10 selected countries, so clearing floor 67 was urgent. But the biggest remaining problem, if only the Holy Sword hadn't broken. The Holy Sword. With the Holy Sword, reaching an average of floor 70 wasn't an impossible goal. Countries in the 50s could be handled by advanced nations through temporary naturalization, and countries in the 60s could climb upward using the Holy Sword. The key is the Holy Sword. If we can repair the Holy Sword somehow, there's hope. But could it be fixed? Experts were overwhelmingly pessimistic. Repair was impossible. Even if it was repaired, it wouldn't show the same effect as before. Should I contact the Korean government? Again? It's urgent. Just leave it. They'll announce a stance soon. We can pray and wait. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Saudi Arabia felt like dying. Putting aside the criticism from other countries, they could just shut their eyes and endure that. But Saudi Arabia's name was included among the 10 selected countries, told to climb rapidly to achieve the average. Among the 10, only 2 were in the 60s, America and Saudi Arabia. The other 8 were all countries in the 50s. In the 50s, there were many methods. Temporary naturalization was one of them. Players above level 50 were fairly common. So they could climb. Some countries just delayed because they wanted to match the time limit. But countries in the 60s were level 60-plus players common. And now the Holy Sword was broken. Originally, Saudi Arabia had the most time left on the clear time limit, because it had cleared most recently. But the moment it was selected, the clear time limit began shrinking noticeably. And because it had the most time left, it was shrinking the fastest. King Ibn bin al-Wahid of Saudi Arabia asked Minister Majed, "Can Nasser clear floor 67 within a month? If he achieves trait enhancement one more time, then maybe. I don't need vague assumptions. I need certainty." Minister Majed couldn't answer. In fact, they had already deployed Nasser into floor 67. But Nasser couldn't kill even a single Phantom Reaper. It wasn't even the same dimension as Spectres. Light attribute items were basically trash. In the middle of all this, if trait enhancement happened one more time, it wouldn't work. In truth, even when Nasser challenged floor 66, Nasser had already gone up after a trait enhancement, and still failed. They had no choice but to borrow the Holy Sword to succeed. And now floor 67, so it's difficult. I'm sorry. Who, if only the Holy Sword hadn't broken. Broken? It had been broken, but King Al-Wahid of Saudi Arabia refused to admit it to the end. Japan was burning inside too, tower collapse becoming reality, the clear time limit dripping away like sand in an hourglass. How were they supposed to clear floor 58? There was only one method. Prime Minister Kawaguchi shouted at the foreign minister, requested from Saudi Arabia. We formed a tower collapse defense treaty, so tell them to honor it. We already requested it, and their response, they said Saudi Arabia is in a difficult situation right now too, and they said the defense treaty was only verbal, so it has no legal effect. What? That was true. They'd only talked about making a treaty. They hadn't signed anything or stamped a seal. You piece of... Then who was going to clear Japan's floor 58? Tower collapse was truly right in front of them. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Taedoor Player Awakening Administration, Korea. It was chaos there too, but comparatively relaxed because they had something to rely on. Park Kyung-soo asked Chun Gwang-il, who had just ended a call. Did you call? What did Player Bong say? Yes, he said we can reveal it right away. He wants us to resume Holy Sword rentals quickly. Whew, then what about the rental fee? He said to keep it the same. He said now isn't the time to raise the Holy Sword rental fee. Heh, truly a great man. He could easily cash in big at a time like this. That's why he received the Holy Sword as a reward, wasn't it? Park Kyung-soo nodded and continued. I wonder if people even know that gratitude. They won't. Just look at what Saudi Arabia is doing. They cleared floor 66 using the Holy Sword's power, then broke it, and now they act shameless. If they'd said even one word of apology, it wouldn't have been this infuriating. What should we do? Japan is Japan, but we can't just leave Saudi Arabia alone. Don't worry, I have an idea. What kind? Park Kyung-soo smiled, the expression sharp. If we reveal the repaired Holy Sword, Saudi Arabia will have no choice but to bow its head, right? Of course, to survive it would have to, but an ordinary apology won't cut it. If you accepted a simple apology, you were basically a sucker. At minimum, they should crawl on all fours with a trait enhancement rune, shouldn't they? Jun Gwang-il also smiled as if satisfied. That's right, a mere verbal apology is meaningless. We need something we can give Player Bong as well, don't we? Trait enhancement runes, an item that was hard to obtain now. Early in tower climbing, a lot had been released into the market, because the reward probability had been very high back then. But as time passed, the probability kept dropping, and now it almost never appeared. When it was flooding the market, the country that swept them all up was Saudi Arabia. They would absolutely have at least one. When will the press conference to reveal the Holy Sword repair be? Tomorrow, immediately. Will you do it personally? I did it before, and it was exhilarating. I'll prepare it. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. If you had to pick the most shocking events in human history, first was the tower's appearance, second was the Mumbai Tower collapse, third was the tower's world notice. Even ordinary people, who had been third parties until now, heard Kabalan Duke know the curse the tower had imposed. Of course the world turned restless. Strange, terrifying, worrying, dazed, beyond words. And in the middle of that, a press conference was announced by Tower Player Awakening Administration, Korea. Was it about the Holy Sword repair? Was it repaired, or had it failed? If repaired, could it fully demonstrate its original performance? If it failed, would they hand it over to a country with stronger technology than Korea? Every media outlet in the world focused on Korea. The press conference was held in the administration's main auditorium, and there wasn't even room to stand. Park Kyung-soo stood at the podium. Jun Gwang-il stood beside. "First, please watch the footage." "Footage?" The hall began to murmur. A video played on the giant screen. Body cam footage. A specter was descending from the sky toward the ground. In that instant, whoosh, a brilliant light filled the screen. Gasp. Ah, my God, holy, it was the holy sword. The same holy sword they'd seen in old footage. But the intensity, the radiance, was completely different. If the old radiance had been Firefly level, this radiance was a high-powered searchlight. Slice, slice, slice. With 3 cuts, the specter burned up. "The holy sword has been completely repaired," Park Kyung-soo continued, wearing a full smile. "No, rather than repaired, it would be more accurate to say it has been reborn. Citizens, citizens of the world, you can rest easy about climbing the 60s. Do not worry. Continue your livelihoods." Silence fell over the hall. The repair of the holy sword was carried out personally by its owner. Yes, the very person who first obtained the holy sword. Humanity should rightly hold sincere gratitude toward that person. And then Park Kyung-soo's final line: "We will now accept holy sword rental reservations." At the same moment, the press hall exploded into cheers that felt like the roof might lift. Not just there. Everywhere TVs were installed, it was the same. Even if it wasn't a perfect solution, it meant they'd crossed a dangerous ridge. Everyone felt relieved. Everyone was happy. Everyone was grateful. Of course, there were countries that couldn't bring themselves to smile. Trukumpis that Japan had fire at its feet. The Holy Sword repair press conference was a story from a distant world to them. Floor 61 was still far away. What Holy Sword? Floor 58, barely floor 58. It was a floor most advanced countries could clear without much trouble. And yet Japan had no player who could clear it. It was Japan's shame. The Kawaguchi cabinet hadn't been wasting time either. They had been pouring an enormous budget into training players on a national level. Results would come soon. They just had to overcome the immediate crisis in front of them. There was no choice. They had to request temporary naturalization from America one more time. There was precedent, so they had no doubt it would be accepted. But what is that supposed to mean? America refused temporary naturalization? That's correct. Are they trying to drive up the price by playing tricks? It didn't seem like that. Prime Minister Kawaguchi doubted their own ears. Why would America? It wasn't like Japan was asking for it for free. They had offered even better terms than before. What's the reason? Minister Macmillan advised that it might be better to improve relations with Korea first. What? He said that up through floor 70, they have to rent the Holy Sword. So from America's perspective, they have to prioritize relations with the Korean government above all. Improve relations with Korea? Damn it! Calling it improving relations was just a nice way of saying, bow your head and go in, flatten yourself. It meant, accept any condition Korea demanded. Ugh, you bastard monsters. Absolutely not. He'd rather collapse the tower. Even America, the country he'd trusted, had abandoned Japan. If that was how it was, then he'd go all the way. From today on, every player belonging to the Japanese cabinet, deploy them all to upper floor climbing, no exceptions. Forcefully? If they refuse or say they'll withdraw. Prime Minister Kawaguchi's eyes were bloodshot. Detain them, threaten them, frame them, whatever it takes. Until floor 58 is cleared, they don't leave. Even if they die, they shatter inside the tower and go down fighting. Thus began the so-called Tower Die-in-Place operation. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Saudi Arabia wasn't doing well either. Black Tower, floor 67. The only known information was that an undead Reaper monster called the Phantom Reaper appeared. Korea, America, Norway. There were quite a few countries preparing to clear it, but not even body cam footage had come out yet. But the players who had faced Phantom Reapers knew. They knew what a terrifying undead monster it was. Zombies, ghouls, specters. Every undead had a dark aura wrapped around its body. So undead always latched onto players first, because the dark aura served as both a barrier and a close-range attack. But Phantom Reapers were different. They swung a huge scythe and fired clumps of dark aura at players. A ranged-type undead Phantom Reaper. Once you got hit even once, it inflicted physical degradation like lethargy and mental damage like inducing panic, ranged dark aura. One hit and it was over. The only way to block it was radiance. That was why even player Gerald Watson in America had said clearing floor 67 was impossible without the Holy Sword. And Saudi Arabia's top player, Nasser Al-Aboud, only understood after going up to floor 67. He couldn't kill even a single one. He took one hit from a clump of dark aura, retreated to a safe zone, gave up the clear, and came back out. That was all. But now the Holy Sword had been perfectly repaired. Nasser hurriedly checked the footage. My God, it was fantastic, almost a rebirth. If he protected his whole body with that brilliant radiance, clumps of dark aura would be no different from water balloons. Nasser rushed straight to Minister Majed. They had to rent the Holy Sword, no matter what. Minister, we need to reserve it immediately. If I get trait enhancement one more time and carry the Holy Sword too, I'm confident even about floor 70. I'm negotiating with the Korean administration right now and trying to secure a reservation. Then when Korea has conditions, I'm deciding whether to accept them. Conditions? Money. If it were money, it would be easy. What in the world are they demanding? An official apology from the Saudi government, and a trait enhancement rune. What? Nasser's face turned absurd. No, what did we do wrong? Either way, it's true you handled the Holy Sword roughly, isn't it? Even knowing its durability was weak. To be honest, he had used too much force. Drunk on power, he hadn't cared about durability at all. He'd slammed it into the ground, slammed it into rocks. A trait enhancement rune is not happening, but if they want my apology, I'm willing. Bowing my head once isn't hard. Minister Majid stared at Nasser for a moment, then spoke. The Korean government didn't demand your apology. I understand. They probably couldn't assign responsibility. Instead, they demanded legal punishment. Legal punishment? What kind of nonsense is that? Nasser jolted in shock. Was that even possible in the first place? So I'm thinking it over. Thinking it over? Nasser's eyes changed. That's something you think over? Without me, NOVL, how are you going to clear floor 67? Minister Majed answered in an indifferent tone. There are alternatives. The next player, Akram. Ha! Akram is only level 62. Wait, don't tell me? His mind snapped awake. Akram, Nasser's backup player. Even at level 62, there was no problem. If they had the Holy Sword, floor 67 was quick. So, are you going to accept Korea's demands? I just said it. I'm thinking it over. Thinking it over? Minister Majed, have you lost your mind? How dare you, me, Nasser, like I'm a trade piece you can deliberate over? Majed's brows knit tightly. Vjenneflem, Samsimovle, Samsumum. You're the one who's lost your mind. Me? Do you see nothing? You're a player inside the tower. Outside, what can you do? Why? Want to rebel? Go on, try. The atmosphere shifted abruptly. For a moment, Nasser felt his skin crawl. That's right. How had he forgotten that outside the tower, a player was nothing? My point wasn't that, go home for now, you don't need to climb the tower today, rest. Yes. Majed watched Nasser's back for a moment, then picked up the phone and gave an order to someone. From today, add Nasser to the watch list. If he tries anything funny, arrest him immediately. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. There was a country that was more ecstatic about the Holy Sword's rebirth than anyone. America. Especially the American people. That brilliant Radiance Holy Sword was a lightsaber from the sci-fi movies they loved. A player holding a lightsaber saves America. How could they possibly resist that? Minister Macmillan, Director Antonio, and player Gerald Watson shared the joy as well. The moment the press conference ended, the three of them hugged and shouted, "Yes, yes," to that extent. Our turn? We reserved first, both the East Coast Tower and West Coast Tower at once. Either way, getting out of the 10 selected countries comes first. Good. It's a tower we have to clear anyway. Clearing a little earlier won't cause any problems. The countries in the 50s had already rushed into clear preparations. By tomorrow, countries would start escaping the 10 selected countries. Ah, did you notify Japan? Yes. I told them directly that we have to watch the Korean government's mood. They understood. The cabinet will take action soon. Minister Macmillan wanted Japan to apologize to Korea and improve relations. For that, Japan's apology had to come first. If relations between the two countries smoothed out, America was willing to support Japan through temporary naturalization. Prime Minister Kawaguchi won't stubbornly dig in to the end, will he? He'll apologize, otherwise his country's tower will collapse. Well, I think Japan will never submit. Unless they're insane. Think about the Pacific War. They took 2 nuclear bombs and still only surrendered begrudgingly. Could that really happen? What did pride matter? If they come out with an attitude like they don't care about tower collapse, Japan might do anything. Macmillan hesitated for a moment. Well, if that's Japan's choice, there's nothing we can do, but they won't be stupid enough to go that far. Right, it'd be suicide. They didn't know that Japan could absolutely do it. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Bong Joon-hek kept staying at his family home. That world notice that had suddenly sounded. His family had been extremely anxious. Mom was one thing, but his father and Min-hyuk, weak man bloodlines, were jittering in fear, saying, what if something happens? Could he do it? The only alpha male in the house had to take care of his family, so he stayed with them for about 2 days. He went out to eat with them, went shopping, signed a contract for his father's car, and took Min-hyuk to the Apple store so he could get applause. Each time, bodyguards followed. He told them it was fine even without security, but it turned out the bodyguards weren't attached to him. They were attached to his family. A bad administration does good work, no need to worry. Joo-hyuk returned to the penthouse. While he'd been with his family, he hadn't seen the summoned entities for 2 days. If he summoned them at the family home, his family would be startled, and then he'd have to explain again. It was a huge pain. Anyway, the boss of Floor 70 had been revealed, an intelligent monster demon, Kabalan Duke. He remembered something the mad demon had said before, a prophecy that towers would start collapsing here and there. A situation had come where that prophecy might be fulfilled. Cossack had mentioned it too, that in the late 60s something started changing, but he'd said he couldn't remember, and the mad demon had said he was under a restriction, so he should summon them and ask that the identity of the Floor 70 boss had been revealed. So he performed designated summon one by one. Has Demon Kabalan Duke appeared? Huh? Did it place the curse of the average again this time? And in the first wave of 10 selected countries, did the commander's country also? No, Korea was excluded, but do not worry. I will protect the summoner. Eek! What the hell? How do they all know? Are they messing with him? They'd said they didn't know when he asked before, and now? Inhibitions have been lifted, thus the memory regarding Kabalan naturally surfaced. When one of Earth's players reaches floor 70, the blocked information is released. Classified military intel just got declassified. This warrior knows now too. That's how it worked, the way the restriction lifted. When humanity learned about an unknown floor, only then would the summoned entity's memories revive too. Then what about floor 68? It's a death knight, strong but stupid. And floor 69, it is a lich, an evil mage. However, it acts on instinct, having lost reason, so killing it is not difficult. They knew everything, everything. What about Kabalan Duke? It's an intelligent monster, and even though it's just a copy, it cursed the whole Earth. The curse was not placed by the copy. Then who? Obviously the true body. The copy is merely a scarecrow. That's what he expected. If the 10 countries succeed in clearing, it is only the first wave. Whether the first wave ends or not, the second wave will follow with 20 countries, then the third wave with 30, the fourth, the fifth. There are even cases where a previously selected country is included again. Wow, it was a vicious curse. You could assume every country would be targeted. That's why towers were collapsing here and there. Korea will be safe. Guardian Spirit Cossack will protect Summoner Bong's homeland. What's the point if only Korea is safe? Other places were about to get ruined. He'd finally made a fortune and was about to live large, but if the world ended, what would it matter? So, anyone know where Kabalan's true body is? No one. Then, who knows a way to find it? Hands up, Cossack slowly raised his hand. Oh, how do you find it? We just take down the copy. The true body and the copies share consciousness. It will take time, but I, Cossack, the master negotiator, can do it. As expected of Cossack, but Cossack seemed to have something to say, hesitated, then spoke. Summoner Bong, what? Do you really need to step in? Even just repairing the holy sword, you've already given so much. Seems like Cossack was against it, which meant, is it dangerous? It's not like that. Then why? To take down Kabalan, we must climb Black Tower, France, floor 70, but your level does not match. Juhyuk's current level was 67. To go up to floor 70, his level had to be 70 as well. And it's not like you can climb Black Tower, Korea, up to floor 70, and don't you only have 2 multinational tower use tickets? True. Even if we find the true body, there is still a problem. We must clear the Black Tower of the country where it is hiding up to floor 70 again. That was the core. A player could only clear the tower of their own nationality. Tower use tickets were items that could bypass that, but the quantity was insufficient. Of course, there was a method, temporary naturalization. If I choose temporary naturalization, your identity may be exposed. This one fears your peaceful daily life may be disturbed. Kyundale was worried about Juhyuk's identity being exposed through temporary naturalization. That is something to think about. But on the other hand, how long can I hide it anyway? Some countries already suspected he was the Holy Sword's owner. Temporary naturalization. Part of him wanted to try it once. It has advantages too. If he cleared Black Tower, France, he could obtain a platinum badge, get benefits, give badges to the summoned entities. I can't pass that up. Identity exposure. So what if it happens a little? The time to worry about safety had already passed. He had heaven and earth unity art, blood jade steel aura he could use in reality too, an energy barrier, a blink ring, and the summoned entities. He could call them any time. Even if the others were on cooldown, calling the mad demon would end it. Thus, the weak man's chest swelled grandly. Let's do it right now. Huh? Temporary naturalization, whatever. I'll experience it this time. The moment Juhyuk decided, oh, as expected of Summoner Bong, what an alpha male, hehehehe. At the boldness of your decision, this girl can only marvel. The summoner decides. Meat Shield obeys. Certain victory. Staff Sergeant Veronica Caliber will support the commander with a burning heart. Eek! They were summoned entities who obeyed unconditionally. Neither thou du stånd, more duon de signin.